host, Sheila Seppi, and the Invisible Man, Phil Gruber, keeps fading in and out. We want to welcome you. And April, I want to bring you up, Miss April, because April is our co-host for the month. April is phenomenal, and she stepped in last week for a speaker who actually was not feeling well. And today was her regular time that she was going to present to us. And so I'm like, April, you got to present the orbs. So she has graciously agreed. So everyone that's here in the audience, everyone who's watching us, whether it's on YouTube or Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, any of the Conscious Awakening platforms, we want to thank you for watching. If you're watching it on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in to us. And we're very excited to share, especially this month, because we're really going to be focusing on art, but how art, really comes about. And even in capturing these orbs, I think that there really is an artistic form to that, April. And I've seen April's photographs. I've seen her book. They're absolutely phenomenal. And so, April, thank you so much for being here, for agreeing to be my host. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it over to you and let you get started, and then we will join in with some questions shortly. So thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Sheila. I'm very, very grateful to spend time again with you this week and talk about orbs. I can talk about orbs for on and on and on, and I really am going to just scratch the surface today. So so you know a little bit about myself, I'm an artist, photographer, author, and I've been taking orb photos probably 6 or 7 years, and I decided that videos were way more valuable because orb action's fast. I mean, it happens fast, and they don't always show up in a full frame. It can show up in like a portion of a frame. So I find when I go through the videos, I got to really comb it, really look at what's going on. Phil is trying to be an orb. I'm going to share screen. So, who watched the coronation? Anybody watch the coronation? The king created an orb in his right hand. So I'm in two research groups, one in Canada and one in the US, and we are looking at orbs, and it's big, huge endeavor. The Bible on orbs, I think, is the Orb Project. It's a book that two doctors put together, Dr. Michael Ledwig and Dr. Klaus Heinemann. And they have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of photos of orbs, and trying to bridge spirituality and science together in this book. And when I first read that book in 2018, I stayed up all night reading it because I wanted to know everything about orbs. So the king carries this orb, and what's this orb mean? Orb and art and orb is really normal, and I think Sheila touched on that. So the coronation orb is very, very symbolic, obviously. You can just look at the cross, and the gemstones, and the perfection. I see even a little hierophant here in the reflection. But it's gold, made out of gold. They'll tell you all kinds of stories. It's topped with a beautiful cross, encrusted with jewels. All the diamonds on this are rose cut, very unusual cut of rose. So you have to be a pretty special diamond. And it reminds the monarch of their power. So this is very symbolic, the orb. And I just wanted to, because it was on the coronation. I thought, what's that guy doing walking around with this orb? So what I've been doing is trying to identify the different types of orbs. And this is my conclusion so far. And so when I talk about off-world orbs, I have a couple of theories, and I'll go into it in more, but possibly they are remote viewers from another planet or galaxy. These are orbs. We're talking about spherical. They create their own light. And we're really familiar with them as ghosts. We see tons and tons of videos of the white ones, and they're really conscious and they're fascinating. Angelic orbs. I'm going to show you what I think is an angelic orb. Mechanical orbs. Now, this was pretty interesting. Mechanical may indicate man-made, and we're starting to see more and more of those type of orbs in the air, especially at airports. The fairy family, I think, come in orb shape too. So orbs to me are consciousness. So the easiest form to make, I would think, is an orb in a consciousness, right? So that's why I think remote viewers, even though they're not in your space, I think it's possible to actually see them because they're projecting their consciousness out. And their consciousness, to some, may look like an orb. So I think that's a very fascinating thing to look at. Interdimensional orbs, they come through. I've been studying Kithera for the past 3 years, so I understand that they come in through the dimensions, but they can only send out portions of themselves. And the same with the spiritual light people. I see light people a lot. I really love them. And so they always surprise me with their orb shapes. I'm really fortunate to be able to take photos and videos of them. And I feel responsible in sharing it. So then we have extraterrestrial orbs. And personally, I've seen 2 different varieties. One was, I saw like an orb in the sky, red orb. And then I saw 2 green orbs in my backyard, which transformed into another entity. So they're shape-shifting. I have also categorized spirits of will. I looked up Rudolf Steiner's work, because orbs are, it's a huge subject. So what did he have to say? And he talked about spirits of will. And I had an experience a month ago of a dream where I was dreaming about these white orbs, white fluffy orbs in my room. And they kept on saying to me, "We're here to do whatever you want us to do." And in my dream, I go, "Okay, go up, go left, go right." It's like, whatever. What are these orbs telling me? And then they just said very clearly that they want to do whatever I want them to do. So that's why I named them Spirit of Wills, and Rudolf Steiner talks about that. Spirit of original source. I'm going to show you a picture. Again, it's in the angelic realm. And then spirit of personality is really fascinating. Over the years, my perception has become more and more clear. And I could watch a TV show, or I could be in a Zoom meeting and see orbs around people. So I call them spirits of personality because, for instance, I was in a Zoom meeting with a group, and this woman was really having a spiritual moment, and orbs flew all around her. and one was black with this blue ring, and it just really wanted to show itself. And only two of us in the whole group saw it, but there was at least two of us that could see it. I think that's a great thing. And I think if you want to see them, it's definitely possible.
Orbs.
Okay, I'm going to share an experience. Fire orbs. I call them fire orbs because exactly what they look like. Fire orbs. I researched in the Bible about fire orbs, and the Bible refers a lot to fire, burning bush, Elijah, saying, if you're really God, and he says, okay, squashes down 50 guys of fire. So, it's there. It's in the Bible. And in the 15th century, they didn't call them orbs. They called them lightning balls. And so when I hear lightning balls, I think of fire orbs. And this is something that, as researchers in the community, all of us, we need to, by identifying, we can have a better vocabulary than just orbs, because I would like to see a better vocabulary. So balls of light, in Australia, the indigenous people know about the fire, and they call them bam bam, I believe, balls of light. So they have an intimate relationship with these fireballs too. So here's art, of course, orbs and art. I'm a museum girl. I love going to museums, and every country I've ever been to, that's the first thing I go to. And I always study the art because there I can see international. And it doesn't matter if it's from China or any country, ancient art described orbs. And we just over the years named them, but we kind of just really didn't seem to build a personal relationship. So this is a really beautiful sketch that an artist did in the 15th century. And there's newspaper articles even in this time reporting about, they're calling them lightning balls. So this looks a little extreme. Maybe it came through the fireplace, but there's lots of art. You can totally get lost in the rabbit hole of orb art. So I'm going to just move this here. Everybody was still with me?
Yes, and I'm loving this.
Okay, this is a personal story, and it's not unique. I have met other people who have this experience. So I call them mini fireballs because they're only 2 inches big. They're only about this big, fit through here. And 2017, I was praying in my living room to God, and I was praying for healing. And I went through a lot of stuff, personally. I've been, through a lot of accidents and surgeries and concussions, and I'm just like the miracle girl that I'm still here. So, but maybe I was greedy or something, but I was praying. And all of a sudden, 2 fireball orbs showed up on the top of the couch. They went down the couch, across the seat, and into the air. And I'm thinking, holy crowley, I've lost it. I really, something was really wrong with me. And I had to live with these fireballs. And they played with my cat. My cat played with them. They came in my room. They were cohabiting with me. And I was really perplexed because I didn't know what they were. I never seen anything like it. I've never heard anybody talk about them. And this is a photograph in my bedroom of the fire orb. One of them. They came in pairs. So I'm it's going on weeks. And I even went to another town to get away from them. And I came back, and one night I just had to fight it, I just had to confront it. And I was in bed, and I had the sheets over my head, and I was going, why are these orange fireballs flying around my house? And so finally I just decided, that's it, I'm going to confront it. And I took my sheet down, and I sat up, and I put my hands out like this. And I said, if you're real, come to my hands like this. Oh, they did. Both of them. Both came into my body. They didn't just come onto my hands. They went into my body and integrated into me somehow. So let me show you another picture of it. This one I edited, so you can get it really good. I love, like seeing what really are we looking at. So I used affinity, and I just clarified it, and this is very fascinating. Shape, color, aura. And I know that other people are reporting interacting with these fire orbs. And I'm sure if we go into the Bible or in scripture and that, we'll hear more about these.
I know you said that you colorized it. Is this one of the fire orbs?
Colorize it.
Not colorized. What did you say?
I just took the filter and put it so that take out the background. So I just blackened it, really.
That's amazing. It's beautiful colors.
Yeah, absolutely. Color is stop pen.
Cobalt.
Oh no, stop. No. My computer's deciding to do something I don't want. Oh, I don't know what you're seeing. What are you seeing? Stop sharing. How about I stop sharing? So the fireballs went in my hand. I'm a little bit in shock. How can this happen? Well, what happened following that is extraordinary. Because when I went like this with my fingers, blue color streams came out of the ends of my fingers. When I went like this, you could see it.
Wow.
And then I went, oh, okay, what's going on? So I went to another town, checked into a fancy hotel, and thinking that that would solve my problem. That the whole situation must be where I'm geographically located. So if I move somewhere else, maybe it won't be like that. So here I am in this beautiful hotel overlooking the ocean, luxury white sheets, and I'm going like this, and blue. I don't know what they call it, photon. Maybe it's electricity. I don't know. Here, let me share again. Yeah, okay. So I took a photo that I found on the internet that best describes what comes out. And now it hasn't stopped. I still have this phenomena happening, and I don't have control over it. I want to learn how to have control over it. But basically, that's what it looks like. A stream of blue comes out. It's fascinating. And no harm has come to me or any other person with the orbs. So, yeah. Do you have any questions about this story? I mean, it's great. Lots of people, and it has to do, and that's why I'm thinking angelic, because when you look at the story, it was initiated with prayer, right? And then I had help. And then in 2017, I was going through a lot of personal stuff. I mean, I was seeing and photographing and videotaping orbs and UFOs and UFEs and you name it. I got photos of them. And so, yeah, I hope I figure out this. And if anybody knows, let me know.
That's amazing, April.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I barely told anybody. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because I've met other people with similar stories. So this is a phenomena that is happening to our conscious community. And we're all like, what I is not to happen. And I hope that I can help other people by sharing my story, because it is happening to other people. So, now there's the massive fireball orbs in the sky. Those, I don't know what they are. I really wish I did. The first time I saw one was in Cape Tormentine, New Brunswick. I just lived there for 8 weeks when I was 13. And there is actually a photo of me on the beach with this fire orb on I think it's left shoulder or maybe right shoulder, just in the sky. My girlfriend had the photo for over 40 years. And I met up with her in Toronto. I went to a conference in Toronto. And she said, oh, she wants to meet up. And she showed me this picture of me at 13 on the beach, Cape Tormentine, New Brunswick. And I said, oh my God, there's a UFO. But it was really like a fireball. And she goes, I've had that photo for 40 years and I never noticed it. She never noticed. So that's a clue to humanity's sight. Because even though we see them, we don't register. It doesn't register. I'm going to tell you another story. In Victoria, I moved to Victoria. I've lived coast to coast. And Victoria, BC, there was there's this place called Mile Zero. It's the beginning of Highway 1, and it overlooks Seattle. So you can clearly see, across the water to Seattle. And in the air was 3 huge fireball. I have to call them fireball ships. Huge ones. And they were just suspended in the air. And there was all these people there. I don't know, there was a big crowd. And I was there with my first husband. And we're all looking at it. We're all amazed. Just 3 fireballs suspended in the air. And then everybody just kind of like started walking away. And I wanted to stay. I wanted to see what the heck these things are going to do. And everybody was just like leaving. And my husband, he whacked me on the shoulder and said, let's go. And I said, no, I want to stay. He said, forget about it. And that's when the bells rang in my head. It's like, oh, forget about it. That's what's happening. People are seeing them, but somehow there's a frequency or something happening that they forget about it. It's not important. It's not part of our reality. Don't even think about it. And if you ask them if they saw something, they'll go, oh, yeah. They vaguely remember. And sometimes I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone when I see, group sightings and so few people remember or acknowledge. And that's why photos are so important, and there's millions of people all around the world that are getting great photos of orbs. And yeah, that was pretty wild, that Victoria thing, because I really believe there was something else that caused everybody to forget about it. So I moved to Comox Valley, beautiful part of Vancouver Island, and I looked towards Strathcona Provincial Park. So Vancouver Island has this huge mountain ridge in the center of the island that divides the west coast from this side. So I don't have to worry about tsunamis on this end. So that's good. That was the plan. Strathcona Provincial Park seems to be orbs. And I'm going to share with you some photos that I've taken personally from my driveway, right from my driveway. I'm getting this stuff. I don't have to go far. I don't have to search for them. So we're focusing on fireball orbs in the sky. So this is my earliest one, 2017 point and shoot camera. It is expanded, so that's why it's really pixelated. But it just came out of the mountains and shot across the sky. And I was just so lucky to be at the right place at the time to see it and be able to record it. And I have no explanation for the shape, colors, or anything. It's fascinating. I'm going to tell you a story. A couple years ago, in the middle of the afternoon, I got this message, telepathic message. And it said, "Get your camera ready." Okay, so this really has not happened to me before. But I followed the instructions, and I got my camera and I put it on a tripod. And that was in the afternoon. And I was sitting in the backyard with a friend. And all of a sudden, this massive, massive fireball goes whizzing over top of us and lands, suspends itself over the mountains. So this is a photo, one photo. But I managed to get videos and photos because I was told in advance this was going to happen. I didn't know this was going to happen. I correct myself. I was told something was going to happen. Okay. So this fireball, I call it a fireball ship. It's huge. And you could feel the energy. I could feel like this frequency coming out. It lit the forest all the way back of my acreage. And I'm just like, how did not people are like the light that stream here? That's the highway, and that's a vehicle light. And it's my house, a star. This is the mountains. This is a fixed light on the mountain. Apparently, it's a logging camp. That's it. What the heck? You know, you got to really look at your photos carefully because it's a surprise. I see. And I didn't see it. I mean, I'm standing here on the driveway, and above me, this orb. And I will do a close-up of this orb. Where are you here? Yes. So is it a projection from the light fireball? Who knows? Fascinating. Lovely colors. I had no idea it was there. And if I didn't get photos, I would never have known. And that's another thing that why photos are really important, I think. Here's another photo of the fireball. Now, it moved, like you could hear it. You could hear like this. And you could feel it. You could literally feel it. Now, I know you're going to go, oh, that probably is what do you call those flares? I have videos of search and rescue flares, and they behave totally different than this fireball orb. Military and search and rescue flares, they get bright and they go dim, 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 and then they kind of go off, and then they shoot another one right behind it. This is the behavior of flares that I've witnessed and videotaped. This is nothing like it. This is nothing like it. This moved, it shifted, it went behind the mountains. There's a suspicious bar here I have no explanation for. And there it is again. I have no explanation for it, but we're focusing on the fireball. And so it independently moved behind the mountains, in front of the mountains, above. It was the brightest thing. And again, there's traffic going up and down the highway. And I mean, if I was driving, I would have stopped and watched it. Nobody pays attention. And it's a really weird thing that we do. We don't look up. We don't look up. So that's my little mission, is encourage people to do that. I managed to get the video. Let me see if I can play. Here's the video, okay? Now, let me tell you something about this video. In the beginning, my voice was it was really hard for me to talk. I was really overwhelmed and really affected by this fireball. And then a car went by, it snapped me out of whatever, incoherence I was in. And so wait till you see what happens. It's of the mountains. It's going in and out between Mount Edward Albert and this front mountain range. Yeah. That was a car going by. This is a very big light, independent of the mountain. You see my driveway. And hello, what are you guys doing? You I've never seen before. You're very large and bright. Oh, not so bright now.
Woohoo!
Blows you away. Like you can hear me in the beginning of how it was really hard for me to try to talk out loud. And I have, some really great mentors and said, well, talk to them, talk to the orbs, find out. So that was my attempt. And it just went like that. And the flare 100% does not do that. It was seemingly knew I was talking to it. Just the way patterns and everything. And, as soon as I said, oh, you're really bright, and then ends like, it was really something that happened.
I have no idea.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's now those fireball orbs are really more common than we are aware, really. I've seen videos of those chasing Navy ships. I've seen videos of those near nuclear power sites. I've seen videos, you just go online. Fireball ships is what I'm calling them. I don't know what other people are, but definitely they are part of our community, part of our environment. Now they're letting us know they're here. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you made a book out of a lot of your images, right?
Yeah, just a scratch. I made a book. It's called Making Contact with Orbs. I feel it's really appropriate because I really am. And it's a photo journal. So there's 60 different photos of orbs. And it's just scratching the surface. But I had started organizing them. And it's something I must confess. It's something to assimilate.
Yes.
These photos and videos. It's something to assimilate physically, mentally, spiritually. And so I've kind of been avoiding doing that. And I have a mentor. She has her website is OC Study and Okanagan Study. And she said, well, just get a website, put a free WordPress website up, and just start posting the photos. Just put facts and let the world deal with it. You don't have to deal with it. Let the world deal with it. So I started doing that. And then I found videos really valuable because so much happens in such a short time. And with videos, I'm able to take still shots, which I think is really valuable. Yeah. And so the book's available on Amazon. And I think I referred that I had them organized, and I had a visitor, Jordan Maxwell, came into my art studio as a non 3D entity. And he said, April, you have to get your photos out. You have to get your photos out. And I'm like, what's going on? So I did it. Right, like him hanging over me. It's almost like he was telling me what to write, and I'm not exaggerating. And I put it together. I put it on Amazon in less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours. It was available worldwide on Amazon. And like I said before, I publish other books. I have other books. It usually takes 3 to 5 days for Amazon to whiz and whirl and do. No, that didn't happen. So it was really meant to go out. And I did a ghost box interview with Jordan Maxwell, asking, because I'm not a person that is inclined to listen to channels or ghosts or anything. And I have really strict rules. And one of my rule is you have to be able to say my name or God. Those are my rules. So in the ghost box section with Jordan Maxwell, he goes, my mentor Bill Hauser goes, well, do you have anything to tell us? Do you have anything important to tell us? And Jordan, you heard this voice come out for April, most definitely, woohoo, or something like that. It was just, he said my voice. So that was another he said my name. So it was another confirmation that, I'm not, that what I'm doing is important, And he mentioned to me that he had a lot of photos. His photos from Egypt went missing or something. I don't know, but I'm sure other people do. But he was upset about it. Now let's talk about orb colors. Colors of orbs. There are so many. There's white ones, gold, blue, the fire ones that we just talked about, multicolored rainbows, red, yellow, purple, shape-shifting orbs, pink. Those might be my favorite. Plasma. I'm going to talk about plasma more. That's why I highlighted it. Rainbow orbs, winged orbs. And then people are getting pictures of multiple orbs, like a whole orb party. So one thing I know as an artist is that color is subjective. As an artist, I could do a painting and someone would come up to me and go, oh, what a great orange painting. And it's green. It's a green. In my mind, I thought it was green, but in their mind, it's orange. And that is so subjective. We all see differently and uniquely. And but we do know for sure that color is measurable by frequency. So I think that's the route I would like to go, is try to measure the frequency of the orbs that I'm photographing or videoing. Because color, again, is subjective. I could see something blue and someone else will say it's green. So it's not and there's great people. There's people all around the world that are taking their orb photos and saying that, the red ones are this and the green ones are that and the blue ones, and, maybe, I don't know. But it's comforting that nobody's been harmed by an orb. And it's really common. It's really common now. Is everybody's got those security cameras, outside their house and that. Well, they're getting the orb photos, and I'm getting people writing me, and they think they should be afraid of them. And I said, no, don't be afraid of them. They can go through the window. Don't worry. No harm has come to people. Now, there is the other side of the coin, I have heard of people showing bad intentions to orbs and receive the consequence, but I haven't suffered any consequence with my orb interactions at all. So here's one again.
April, I definitely want you to go forward, but there was a question that Tony asked that I thought was really great. He said, are you suggesting that it's your frequency at the time that reflects the color? That's an interesting thought.
That's an interesting thought, Tony. Hi, Tony. Tony's my friend. Well, each person is, let's see, individual. So could it be that, your frequency attracts orbs? Maybe. I think that would be more in the connected to emotion. I don't think so. Maybe. Now, there's a lot of orb photo people that their closet, there's a whole community of closet orb photographers. And there's a conversation happening, and I've seen some photos that are really, really meaningful to them, where like a blue orb with a parent's face on it.
Oh, wow.
In 3D. Beautiful stuff. And so that could be, I feel like I'm just really scratching the surface. And like I said, my book has 60 different types of orbs. So
well, thanks for answering that. I couldn't go forward until I heard the answer either. So thanks, Tony.
And look at this. Plasma is the main thing of the universe, right? And plasma is the single largest component of our blood. These are little pillows of plasma floating around in our 3D system right now. I think it's really cool. So there may be a connection. I mean, this is what we're learning, right? We are part of God. The universe is plasma, electromagnetic energy. So we need our plasma, and it's the thing that, if you cut yourself, it's the plasma that heals the wound, that stops the bleeding. So, I think they probably haven't done a lot of meaningful research into our blood plasma. And talking about plasma, I have this whole series lately of plasma. I call them plasma orbs. They fly around my bedroom, and I talk to them, and they come to my hand, and they are so fascinating because they come in and go out. They got to be interdimensional, because they don't pop up like the orange fireballs that are running around in my house. They popped up, like I physically saw that. But the plasma ones, or what I refer to as plasma, they just kind of come in the air, show up, and gone. They're okay. I wish I had answers for people. I think what I'm trying to say is that together as a community, we can find the answers. And there are some. So, like for instance, I think some of the orbs I interact with are sentient forms, advanced consciousness, life forms that exist, but we're just not familiar with them. They're not in our history books, but we burn books, so who knows? We have technology now that we never had before. We all have cameras. Little babies can take photos of orbs now. I mean, they like to photobomb. In my orb research groups, they photobomb. They want to be known. They show up in your photos. And so that's why I think we're becoming more familiar with them. And on Earth, we tend to think intelligent life is like, humans, or, some people don't even recognize plants as conscious, but they are. And we scientifically proven that if you, have a bad intent to a plant, it will emit a frequency almost like a scream. You go towards scissors towards the plant, it knows. And they've proven it. So, however, I see light people, and I love light people, and they come in all strips of color, light, sometimes rainbow, mainly blue, really bright. And I think they're higher dimensional, and they come through higher states. They come through into my 3D world, right? And I get to see them as orbs, I believe, and they can shapeshift, but mainly they're formless, right? And they're I see them as plasma light. Now, my mentor, Phil Gruber, he would probably call them liquid light. He's going to kill me. Anyways. So I think plasma beings, are capable of projecting their consciousness. And that's what I talked about earlier about the remote viewers. Like I could be sixth dimension. I could be April in the sixth dimension, sending portions of my consciousness back to April in the third dimension. And I could see it as an orb. Right? Maybe that's what's happening. And I think it's really important that I learn, and everybody, that we can communicate. And this is really important. They want us to learn how to communicate. So I think that's why we're seeing the orbs, but they can shapeshift. And I think right now, the light people are revealing themselves more and more to our community. Okay, so what's going on in church, right? I used to go to church a lot, and we see orbs all the time. They're normal, right? They're normal. And in church, they call them Holy Spirit. I don't know if they are or not. I remember one time being in church, and I never used to take my camera, but this time I did. I had this six-sided citron color, about this big. It looked like a crystal, came flying at me in the middle of service. I was like, what the hell? Freaking my camera, and that was part of the initiation, because there's part of me, the silent one, I think, that wants proof. This is proof. Like there's a silent part of me that doesn't talk. This is really unusual to hear me talk so much. That wants proof. This is really happening. This is real. This is really happening. And it is. And it's happening to lots and lots and lots of people. Yeah, let me share screen again. Our lovely plasma okay. This is an orb. Okay, well, let me give you some context. This is from a video, and it's a still shot. I didn't know I got orbs in these video until I slowly go through it frame by frame. So the white portion is my leg pants. And I'm walking, and this thing crosses in front of me, and you can see a shadow on my leg pant. You can see it. You can see a shadow here. It's really expanded because it's a very little thing, right? But you can see it has energy. It has consciousness interacting with me, but maybe my subconscious, higher conscious could be aware of it. My conscious 3D is just becoming more aware of it. Does that make sense? Because I've seen them all my life. I just never really, I don't know. It's not a topic that people talk about, but it's becoming more relevant. we need to find out what these things are. You know, the mechanical ones especially. Here's a plasma art. This is from a video. Now, what's really cool about them is they stretch out and they got their own light. They have their own light. And I believe they have their own consciousness. It's almost, I mean, from a still, you can't really appreciate how it goes like from an orb and then stretches out and goes in an orb and disappears and then shows up again. And all these videos I take are short. You know, the maximum video I've taken of orbs, I think, was 40 minutes. But usually a minute or so. I don't know. Something happens, I have to admit, to me, where I stop videoing. And I'm still piecing that together. This is cool. So this is the video. This is describing light people and how they expand into like kind of pillars. This is what I'm describing here. And sometimes they're like wavy and rainbowy, and maybe one day I'll put them all together in one collection so that, you know, I can really figure out what's going on. And then there's a pretty blue orb above it. Mm-hmm. And in the video, this orb changed into this shape and color. So you're imagining an orb. I'm getting still shots from a video. So these actions happen so fast that it's almost imperceptible to the eye. You understand? But not to the physical body or to the soul. I mean, how I get the videos is a lot of times I just get a feeling. And this is a common experience with orb photographers. You go by you feel something, you point and click, and you hope you get something. That's kind of how I started, you know. So, because they're not always visible, but over the years, they became. I'm like building a relationship, and I'm seeing more. I see structure. I got photos of the plasma orbs, and you can literally see structure. Like a cross between, I don't know, caterpillar and I don't know. But this is why I'm in 2 orb research groups, because we're going to figure it out, right? And there's been so much wonderful research on orbs, and I'm, you know, I feel really privileged that I get to get all these photos and see all this cool stuff. What do I have here? Yeah. How am I doing for time?
You're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the orb research project. Grant Cameron's orbology group I'm on. There's about 80 people on, I think. And so we're just like crazy photos. And oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Sorry. About the cameras, you know, the motion detection cameras. We have surveillance cameras that we have outside our house. They're capturing a lot of orbs too. So, and there's nothing to be frightened of, I think, is my main conclusion. No harm has come to me. So I'm going to go on that. And nobody I've known, except for the ghost paranormal people who provoke orbs maybe. But let me share screen again. Here we go.
While you're doing that, Diane asked if you could share more information about how to get a hold of some of the various orb groups.
Right. Well, the one I'm on, Rebecca Hardcastle, right, is through a coaching group, and it is a coaching group that we've been working together for a year so far, and we're like the alumni, the first group that through the coaching, and we decided as a group to do an orb project. So It's very scientifically slanted. Now, the Orbology group with Grant Cameron is an invitational. So you can contact him, I guess. Also, another thing I created was a form, a form for myself, really, because I was like, how am I going to organize all this information? How am I? So I created a form, and I'll share that form with anybody. You just email me. You could put on my website. If you fill in the mailing list, there's a check mark. You can indicate that you want the form. Now, the form has 13 questions that I created for myself, which I think is relevant for anybody. So I'm asking what type of orb. So that list I shared with you earlier, the types of orbs, where was that? Yeah, identifying. So, as a group, or I'm trying to identify the type of orb. So is it interdimensional? What color is it? What's your impression of the orb? Because we were talking about frequencies, how we can actually feel it. So I think your impression of the orb is an important component. When did you see the orb? I see them in the day. I see them on TV shows. I see Susie, you look great. Is she sleeping on the ocean, Susie? Anyways, when did you see the orb? It could be on the beach. It could be in the sky. It could be in your bedroom. And do you have a photo? And this is something I think I developed over time, getting the photos and being more communicative. But I think photos say 1,000 words. Photos, you can really look at them. You can dissect them. I'm learning software programs. I'm not there yet. Time, location, were there other witnesses? This is important too. I see orbs with groups. I'd be in a Zoom call and maybe I'll see all of a sudden Glenda's got an orb hanging around her or something like that. So, and maybe other people in the group. So I think that's something we could look at. And can I communicate with the orb? That is really, that would be great. I think that's the main thing I want to do. Not at first. It's been a progression. I've been doing this for like 6 years, but as I realized I don't have anything to fear, as I realized no harm has come to me, and actually I've had some magnificent healings with my interaction with orbs, and I know many other people too. So being able to communicate. What does that communication look like? And another really important thing that I added to my form was there a difference in your environment when you were interacting with this orb or seeing this orb? Did you feel electric static? Did all the crickets stop making noise? These kind of little nuances. Did you hear a pop? And it's all about opening up our perception of what is happening. What are we experiencing? So, and then I went into, do you think this is going to help? What kind of category? Do they fit in the fairy family? And my pond, I got some pretty wild things happening out there. And, and as a child, I used to see these things and adults always discouraged me and isolated me from talking about it or saying anything. But now I'm a full grown adult. Yes, there's fairies out there and many other things. So, and then anything else to add. So this form, if you're interested in it, I can send it to you. You can complete it on your own, keep it in your own file, so you can share it with me anonymously. And Yeah.
Can you provide your email address, please?
Let me share screen. Yes. You know me, I'm so organized. Kinda.
There you go. That's right.
So this is the cover of my book, Making Contact with Orbs, with the blue orb. Oh, that's a whole nother story. I mean, it's a photo journal. And now what I'm doing is taking my videos and making little YouTube videos of them because yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important to share. I know I'm not alone. I know lots of people are seeing them. Seeing my website is April Cotton Dyck. I have drawing classes too. So maybe I can talk about that, Sheila. I conduct drawing classes for people who are experiencers. It's a private experiencer drawing class, and my next one is going to happen mid-August. But this one coming up is with LightNet. Wow, it's really cool. If you sign up for my class, you actually get access to all the other classes. And it's one-on-one. There's only 8 seats in the class. Joyce Buckner, she wrote this beautiful thing. She took my LightNet class, and now she's in my experiencer class. And I like the experiencer class because it's unrecorded, it's very private, and we're all kind of on the same platform. And LightNet, it's just doing exciting things too. So those are 2 amazing things I'm doing this summer, besides visiting Sheila.
That's right. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm open for questions.
Oh, that's awesome. And hopefully,
Probably forever. I just literally barely scratch what I could share. But I think my message is that they're there. They're interacting with humans. We're all, but a lot of people are taking photos and are sharing. And so there's a form of international communication happening, which is just very exciting.
yes.
What was it? Liquid light plasma?
I can vouch for how amazingly wonderful it is to be here in Colorado with Sheila. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a great time. Yeah.
Oh,
I think she was asking about the hydroplasm.
The consciousness that exists in the form of hydroplasmic liquid light are usually the Christos, the cradle of Lyra or Lyra, 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional consciousness will manifest in the form of liquid light, liquid crystal, liquid silica, hydroplasmic liquid light. Yes.
Hydroplasmic. So forget about plasma. Hydroplasmic. Okay.
And to be able to see them, you need to really have very highly developed vision, clairvoyant vision, to even to be able to see life forms that advanced. Yeah.
I do see them, and I think I will also add, as an artist, I have a training. So humans, we only see 4 to 10% of our environment. So what's going on around us? But as hours and hours and hours of drawing the human form and that, you really focus on everything. So I think I'm sensitive to, moving.
Right.
But yeah, I think we can all develop this
Nice.
relationship though.
Beautiful. So Gary has his hand raised. Gary, you have a question for April? We can't
yeah.
see you.
I'm in the dark.
Okay.
I'm outside. Yeah, I read Bob Monroe's book, 4 Journeys, and he talks about encountering these plasma beings that were very interesting exposure. But April, I was curious what dates you're going to be visiting Sheila in Colorado.
I don't know. I just told her today.
What'd you say? Mid-September? That sounds good.
August, September. Yeah, that's all. September, Gary.
September's a great month for Colorado, my favorite month.
And I hear, are you a closet orb photographer?
No.
Okay. I know, our friend, she's still here? Oh, Rosalind, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
She's here.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's like she gets engulfed within
Look at stones.
dimension and is able to get photographs. Just blows me away. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stone has a bunch too. I mean, even on her. Yeah. Hey, Stone. You have some on your background. Why don't you pop up here?
Oh, here?
Stone is here. Yeah. We
I'm-
added you to the spotlight.
Wow.
Where is it? I remember Stone, Ross, myself, and you. We had an orb party.
Yes. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see you.
I'm going to add you up here too, Roz. So we've got Stone and Roz up here with you. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Those are so cool. And Stone, you are going to be presenting, is it October? I don't have it in front of
I thought
me.
it was September, but anytime, just buzz me whenever.
Yes.
So and there's the proof. This proves the point. Rosalind is in Israel. Stone is in New Zealand. Are you girlfriend?
Yeah,
I'm
New
here.
Zealand.
So we're like all spread all around the world, and we're all having these amazing experiences and photos, and we're just like millions of people. As you know, the more we get out there, the better we'll find out. We'll get the answers. Frozen, Sheila. You frozen?
Great. No, I think I'm good.
Eric?
Johnson has some interesting information on his second book, Life Force, about orbs moving through rooms that were visible. I don't know if anybody's read that book. Claude Swanson, Life Force.
Cool. Can you put that in the chat, Gary?
Sure.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, Eric, let's bring you up, my friend.
This is awesome because I see this stuff every day, everywhere. Every time I'm getting you, I have this one. If I'm in an SAI or IONS meeting, I have one that kind of goes across the screen. This time it was going up. But most of the orbs I see are about golf ball or tennis ball size, and they're usually kind of grayish or whitish gray, a lot of them. I've never seen in red or orange or green or anything like that I can recall. Some bright ones that I consider more angelic. But my main question is this. They kind of move in and out. Feels like my room's like a portal or filled with bats. Sometimes it's very active. But my thing is I get intelligent responses because I can think thoughts, and I get what I call Casper taps on the walls. When they zip through, sometimes I can hear them go actually bang off my desk and hit the wall or hit the TV. I could hear physical stuff, and when they get close, I could actually feel it, almost like when a tennis ball would whiz by it. You could feel that. Zzz. It's almost I get that, and I get touched all the time. I just call them Casper, or these I call them Casper taps because I get them all the time, and I see these things at work. They can move objects. At least I think it's the orbs that are doing it, because I see pins move when they kind of get upset with me if I yell, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep. Shut the F up." Town balls might get thrown out of my closet once, not very often. Or my favorite, this is my favorite thing that they do, the breathing Walmart bag. I don't know what the big deal about the bag is, but it's easy for them to manipulate. But I have a lot of stuff like that. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm a near-death experiencer and clairvoyant. I don't know. I mean, I'm in somewhat of spirit rescue, and I've been in deliverance and stuff like that. And I do house readings from time to time. But I kind of want to have your take on that. It's kind of
clairvoyant. Having higher perception is part of it. Because I've been with people you know, we'll see an orb or UFO in the sky, but only some people can see it. And this is a phenomena that happens worldwide too, right? Only some people see it. So, yeah, as Phil alluded to, you know, we have more sight, and it's something that can be developed, and it's something that we can accept as part of ourselves and put it to good, I think.
I try to. Sometimes I say, well, I don't know if you need help. I will try to pray you over. I ask for angels. I call them paladins of light, is what I call them. They come in, and if anybody's earthbound or trapped, might help cross them over. You know, I don't know if that happens all the time. I have had this thank you I've heard before. God bless you, Eric. I have had that happen before. I'm clairaudient, but not all the time. But mostly I see everything, and I can track any movement. I have things moving around all the time, and I swear, it's almost like a mouse moves real fast across the wall. I could track everything everywhere.
Yeah,
And some sense of humor. I mean, they will like lock you into a locker room or something like that. I've had that happen. I don't know what the heck the deal. You know, a lot of times I just go boo. That means I know you're there. I see you. Sometimes I see like a partial apparition, like almost like someone walking in front of a strobe light. You see like maybe an arm or a part of a torso or something like that. I mean, I'm not afraid of these things, but sometimes some of them feel better than others. You know,
it's true. And that's why I created that forum, because it's a lot of information to process. And a lot of times I don't want to. I'll put it in the back filing. Yeah, it happened. I don't want to deal with it, you know? So that's why I created a forum to kind of guide me, because there are patterns, like I mentioned before, the sound, right? Sometimes I hear a pop, and there's more than one kind of entity that we're correct. So yeah, and I think the most important thing is, you know, to have love, have no ill intent. If you know, if you kick someone, they're going to kick you back, kind of, you know. So that's the way I think of it. And if you don't feel comfortable with them, you can ask them to leave. I've had people who have passed come visit me, but I've never come in orb form, no. And I've asked them, you know, to go to light, be peaceful, and that's the you really. They're communicating to us, well, us, right? So we must have some way of being able to communicate to them, or they wouldn't knock on our door, maybe.
well, one more thing is like I saw you talked about them being in your hands and stuff, but sometimes I just see them shoot into me, and a lot of times I don't feel anything. Sometimes I do feel something. It feels like you get hit like by a nail gun or something. I don't know, because I'm not doing anything like aggressive. I'm usually just praying or just walking in my room or doing something. I don't know. You know, I've been involved in certain things that were dark in the past, but that's behind me. You know, I serve on the side of light, you know, especially after my near-death experience. I'm not really sure, but I see them shoot in from time to time, and I just kind of tell them, I really don't like that. I don't know what you're doing. I exit, please. You know, you're not welcome to violate my space. But again, I tell them, hey, if you need help, I will try to pray for you. I try to help you. I'll call in angels. I call, you know, God to help you out. You know, I've crossed over. Hey, they got programs and things for you over there. Please don't be afraid to go into the light. You want to go home. You don't want to stay here. Besides, I'm really boring. You know, I'm not entertaining. Go over to the other side.
And that's why we need to identify them, because like the white fluffy orbs that we see in photographs and in paranormal investigations and stuff like, well, there is this woman that expanded them. She has a whole collection, and on the edge of these white orbs are faces and entities, and she really highlighted, and it made me look at my white fluffy orbs. My goodness me, there was a horse, a guy riding a horse with a crown on his head. Blew me away. That's what keeps on happening to me. Every time I get down the rabbit hole, it's like, okay, acceptance is the key to all my problems, you know.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. Been a blessing to me today. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Eric. Thank you. Did we lose Sheila?
Yeah, you know what? I had some technical difficulties. I came back on, But April, until I can figure out how to operate this on the phone, if you could just go ahead as people raise their hands, if you could just go ahead and acknowledge them, bring them up, that would be amazing.
Okay. So can you see me or
I can see you. Uh-huh.
So I have Eric pinned, and does anybody have their hand up?
So just go ahead. You can unpin him.
Yeah, I did.
He's okay. Wonderful. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing, Eric. That really helped me.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Any other questions? Nope. I don't see in your hands. No hands, my friend.
Okay, awesome.
I was going to say, I did put my hand, I didn't put the action bar up. Yep.
I'm sorry. Who's speaking?
Stone.
Stone.
Hi. I wanted to know a bit more about the ones that you were describing as mechanical. The ones I've noticed a change in some of the ones I'm getting, and I'm wondering how, I'm seeing mechanical shapes in them now. So what are you getting? And blue as well.
Kind of didn't want to go there, but I'm going to. Some people are calling them dragons. Dragon, dragons. More and more people are seeing these metal type ships are orbs. They're actually orb shaped. And a lot of people are getting films around the world. And so what we're seeing is, a plane go up or down. And when they get to a certain height, certain feet, we see these metal looking orbs going and like whizzing by them. So what are they measuring them? What are they doing? We don't know. Now there's a whole nother thing happening to the world that we're just starting to hear whispers about. And that is smart dust. So we kind of know about nanotechnology and what it can do to the human form. Well, this is the next version, I think, that we're dealing with. And smart dust may be able to become conscious and take on shapes. We don't know. This is learning. But yeah, I didn't really, there are definitely 100% mechanical orbs out there. Yeah. And we're getting photographs. The truth is the truth.
So you on the same note, around the same time as that change started happening, started seeing it, we're also getting a lot of the multicolored orbs. I did a test with my students and I said to them, I want everybody to write down a color and call in an orb and see if you get that orb showing up in that color. And I've got one that lives with me 24/7, has for a long time, just it's regular, doesn't pay rent or bloody
Recording
anything.
in progress.
And I expected it to communicate because I've got evidence now that it can communicate with other people's orbs on wherever in the planet, right? So this really surprised me when it came back. Everybody that did the experiment, we all got the same multicolored orb. So and I'm now starting to see the multicolored orb showing up in lots of the ORBS photos. Are you getting those?
Yes. And off the top of my head, I can't relate where, but I do know children playing. If you take photographs, you will often see orbs, and they're happy orbs. Like they're really happy orbs. What you're describing, I don't know if they're the same, but the children ones are. You can see them. Lots of grandmas are getting photos you know, in the Christian community, they think it's like the Holy Spirit, and they're really excited about it. So they're rainbowy colors. I have photos of kids with rainbow orbs. Are they this? What is that? The same thing you described? Like they're happy, joyful.
I saw a picture of a multicolor orb in Mexico at Chichen Itza in the winter solstice in 2012 that was shaped in a triangular kind of a shape. Almost looked like a spaceship, but it was layered horizontally with multicolors. A woman on a trip I was on took that picture.
Nice.
Amazing. And by the way, I just posted that book by Claude Swanson, Life Force. But in that book, he has Cleve Baxter's experiment he referred to earlier, April, about the communication with the plants. And if somebody walks in a room with bad intent, like they were going to hold a shrimp over boiling water, and the plant's freaking out, they had it hooked up to like a lie detector.
I have a whole
That's
for the forest.
But at any rate, that experiment's also in that book, Life Force.
It's fun.
April, I want to say something. Since Stone Hobbit, I spent some time showing me her. April, you got to see her collection of photos. I mean, they're awesome. And I haven't seen an orb yet, but well, this is kind of funny. I talked to Stone and I went, oh God, I want to see orbs. Universe, I want to see orbs, And then I started seeing orbs in the corner of my eye, and I'm so excited. I also noticed that I couldn't see to drive that much. So I went to the eye doctor. They said I need surgery. They put drops in my eyes and my orbs went away. So I was real disappointed.
Oh.
They were just maybe they'll come back for real, but you got to see Stone Hobbit's collection. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, she lives with these guys all the time. Okay, love you, April. Love everybody. Thanks.
Beautiful.
It's becoming more common, and a lot of people aren't comfortable sharing, and I was one of them. And there's a lot of closet people that just have, and it's a lot for me to assimilate. Like it's taking me time.
Right.
And now that I'm in the rabbit hole, where do you start? I mean, you just pick one, or you just like, yeah. So we'll get it. We've got a good team here, I see.
That's awesome. April, thank you so much. You did a fantastic job. I really appreciate it. I know we've got a lot of great orb photo takers out there. And one of the things, a lot of times people would catch orbs in their photographs and discount it as dust, or they would discount it as a camera flare or something like that. So I would encourage everybody to go back through your own photos and look at them now with new eyes. April, you've brought so much information to us tonight, and everyone was sharing. Eric says this was so cool. Yes, it was. And Eric, I kind of lost part of your share. It's recorded, so I will catch it. Kind of weird how things were happening here, but now we're back on, and everybody is participating, and I want to thank you so much. April, one more time, can you please tell people if they want to reach out, if they want to contact you, or if they've got questions about orbs, how can they do that?
Absolutely. I have a website, www.aprilcottondyck.com. My email is aprilcottondyck@gmail.com. You can contact me through my website, through the contact form. Please join my mailing list. I'll keep you up to date on my experiencer drawing classes. And everything's on my website. Information. My YouTube videos, you can go. I started adding my library of YouTube videos on my website, so you can photographer there. Lots of orbs I'm adding all the time. Wonderful ghost box sessions. And yeah, my book's there too. The link, www.makingcontactwithorbs.wordpress.com. But that's also on my website, and you can order my book on Amazon. So right away.
Yay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging in with us. I really appreciate it. This was so fun. Thanks everyone for sharing and talking about your photos. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So until we are together again, much love to everyone. Have a beautiful week and namaste. So good night, everyone. Thank you
Good
for
night.
being here.
Take
Good
care to
night.
everybody.
Good night.